Hi, Kelly. How are you doing today?
Good, Jess. How are you?
I am good. One of the things that we want to talk about today is our summer reads and recommendations. If you've listened to us, the first 3 seasons of Chasing Brighter, Kelly and I had a book club episode every month, and we think reading is so important. One of the things that is insane to me is how incredibly helpful books are to our mental and physical
Yes.
wellness.
Yes.
It strengthens the brain, it reduces stress, it boosts empathy. I was trying to pull up the study that I will tell my clients. After 6 minutes of reading, it will lower your heart rate, ease muscle tension, and studies show that it reduces psychological stress by 68%, also leading to better sleep quality. So many great reasons to read. And so Kelly and I want to talk to you about our top summer book recs.
One of the things I want to add to that, by the way, is our June episode about romanticizing your life.
Mm-hmm.
We can romanticize reading. A lot of us think about reading as just a task, something to get done. And instead, I think this is a great way to practice that in terms of really, truly spending time enjoying that book. Maybe you're choosing a special scene outside on your back deck or your front porch, or reading in a park, or even reading during baseball and soccer games, like before and after, like while you're waiting for your kid or something. Not to be antisocial, but like finding some time in the nooks and crannies of your summer to really bring back the joy of the fun of reading.
Yes, absolutely. So every time we do this, I'm always just doing fun. I know you're going to throw in there some heavy reads, or maybe you won't, but I'm sticking to light and fluffy for my recommendations. So I want to start with, I love to read a book and watch the show or movie and be disappointed and talk about how the book was better.
Okay.
That's my toxic trait.
Okay.
And so one of the things I saw, and I already talked about this, is the off-campus series on
I'm hearing
Prime Video.
all about this.
Okay. So I saw it pop up on my Kindle and it said Prime Series, and the Prime Series hadn't launched yet. So I hurried up and read all of the books by Elle Kennedy. It's her off-campus series. She has a whole bunch set at this Brer University, but first book is called The Deal. And if you want an addictive, easy-to-read romance with humor, chemistry, lovable characters, the off-campus series is great. It is fast-paced, fun, perfect for vacation reading, very sexy. And I wanted to watch the show with my daughter, and she was like, I'm not watching this with you. And I was like, why is it going to have a bunch of sex scenes? And she was like, I think so. So she watched the whole series over the weekend and said that she's so upset because now she has to wait for the second season. And I was like, well, why don't you read the books?
That's very interesting. I did not know that was a book series, and I'm going to have to add it to my to reads, Jess.
Yeah.
But my girlfriends were talking about it recently, my book club girls. And what was really funny is because one of them didn't go to college. And so she was like, if I would have known her, I don't know anything about it. All she said was something like, if I would have known that's what boys were like in college, I would have gone to college. And so I was
hysterical.
like, oh, what is going on here?
Well, it's definitely, they're all hockey players. And so, of course, everyone is like 6'4" and ripped and the book and amazing. And it's very spicy. And I know you like a slow burn romance, so that's not going to be a slow burn romance necessarily.
I
Sex
do.
First, romance
I'm a reader
later.
of all books, so I don't know. Don't count me out, I guess.
So that was really fun. And then I read like the 5th book, The Legacy, which was like 5 years later of all of the characters, which was really cute.
Is it called Off Campus, the books themselves? Oh, it is.
The first book is called The Deal.
The Deal. Okay.
And it's her off-campus series. So Elle Kennedy, I don't think I've read her before, but she has a ton of series, which I always love. And so she has like a series of like these characters' kids. Because I think this first book came out in the early 2000s. And so her newer book is like all of these characters that got together have kids, and now their kids are at Brer University, which is a fake Ivy League university outside Boston that she's created in this world. So,
are we going back and forth on books?
Yeah.
Okay. So mine, since we're going to start with sort of like a guilty pleasure of sorts, my best beach bag book or like beach read that I have is called Typewriter Beach. First of all, there's beach in the title. How bad can it be? But it's like a historic fiction summer. I think it's based in like Hollywood and some other glamorous settings.
Yeah.
And it is, it came up in like a suggestions for me. Typewriter Beach is the book. Let me see. I have it pulled up in my descriptions here. But yeah, so Hollywood and Carmel by the Sea are the two locations. So, and I love myself, a historical fiction. It's set in 1957, but it's supposed to be a really popular summer read this summer. So.
Oh, that sounds good. I'm going back to an author I mentioned before. I still have not watched The Housemaid, but I read Frida McFadden's book, the first two. I didn't read the third one.
Okay.
Because everyone was like, I got it. And everyone's like, it's not worth it. And so, but I still need to watch The Housemaid. But I love her. And I'm reading her book. Kelly, I think you'll really like it. I'm reading her. This isn't my recommendation, but side note, I'm reading Dear Debbie right now. And I'm loving. I did not dive into it. I don't want to know all about it, but it is like the main character is a middle-aged mom who's at home, who works part-time with 2 daughters. Her teenagers treat her like crap. She's kind of ignored. And I have a feeling she's poisoning everyone. Don't know, but I love her and I want her to end up on top because her life resonates, right? But anyway, and so my recommendation for this summer is Frida McFadden's book, The Boyfriend. Her books are basically the definition of I stayed up late finishing this. And The Boyfriend is twisty, bingeable, and super readable without being emotionally draining.
Ooh, that sounds good because I've dabbled in psychological thrillers, but I don't like things that get a little emotionally draining or I get really annoyed by the characters. So
I think you will like Dear Debbie. And I haven't read The Boyfriend yet, but I haven't read any of Frida McFadden's books that I don't love. So
all right. Well, next on my list is going to be a book that I'm really excited to read. It's kind of like a lose yourself in the summer type of vibe, and it's called Calamity Club. It's by Catherine Stockett, who wrote The Help.
I love
and so
that.
It's been a couple years since she published something, so obviously expectations are high. So it's Southern atmosphere, strong female characters, and it's something that maybe you can read over an entire weekend. It's one of those, again, you lose yourself in it. So I'm pretty excited about that book. Again, it's called The Calamity Club.
Love that. The 7-Year Slip by Ashley Poston, Poston. A cozy romance with a magical realism twist. Emotional, but still light and hopeful. Feels dreamy and comforting. It's on my list.
Okay, that book was borderline something I was going to read at some point recently. So it definitely has
telling you need to read it then.
Popped up. I actually think I might have started it and then abandoned it, but I'm willing to give it a go because I like.
Remember, you did
premise.
That with you were reading
Fourth Wing as an example.
Wing, and you were listening to the Audible, and I read them. I'm like, Kelly, you need to go back, and then you read them, and you liked them reading them better than the Audible. Yes. Sometimes it's like we leave and come back, and then we love it.
They now have the audio production cast stuff that's even amazing
with those Wing
too.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, let's see. One of the books, and I don't know if you have this on your book, but it's also my book club we've decided, which is a hidden gem potentially, and you can thank your book of the month club that you gave me, which is Yesteryear. Have you heard about Yesteryear?
Kelly, I'm following her. How I found Yesteryear, and I have not looked at book of the month because I'm so bogged down right now with books right now. I did not pick a May book. This is the first time in 3 years I haven't picked a book of the month. That's how bogged down I am right now. But I saw the author tell me about her on something, and we follow her for Chasing Brighter because I loved her story so much, and now her book's popping up everywhere.
Well, the other thing I know about the book.
It's about a trad wife.
It's about a trad wife who travels back in time.
To the 1800s.
Yes. And so it's kind of like a little bit of like Outlander vibes in some way too. It's a historical kind of speculative elements to it.
Yeah.
It is a reflection of womanhood and modern life.
Yes.
And one of the things is Anne Hathaway read the book and immediately bought the movie rights to the book.
Oh.
So I thought that was interesting. Also, we don't know if Anne Hathaway is a good producer. I don't know. Maybe she, I don't know. So, but I think that one, I'm pretty excited about it. It sounded very interesting. So we'll see how it goes.
So it's by Caro Claire Burke, right? Caro. And
yes.
So I think what I understand, you guys can all fact check me, is that, she's been writing a lot, and she was doing like an article or something on trad wives on TikTok, and she became so engrossed in the trad wife phenomenon. If you're not familiar with it, that means traditional wife. So TikTok started where all of these women are saying that they want to like stay home barefoot, pregnant in the kitchen, taking care of their man. It's a big
trend.
Trend.
I guess like
buzz. Women who perform traditional submissive homemaking, and then they're monetizing through social media. And so she like wrote an article for it, and then kind of became obsessed, went down a rabbit hole, and then wrote yesteryear. So I would suggest following her on social media too, because she is super interesting.
Caro Claire Burke, everyone.
Yes.
Just so you know,
so I love me a little nerdy cozy. I love a cozy romance. Okay. And there is this Dream Harbor series by Lori Gilmore, and book number 4 just came out. The Strawberry Patch Pancake House by Lori Gilmore. And so I have read, it's like the Pumpkin Spice Cafe. Like there's like all of these different ones, and there's characters that come in. And I just love those kind of books. Like anybody who read Virgin River, I read like all 20. You have to look how many Virgin River books there are, because the Virgin River show is nothing like the books. The books are cozy, wrapped up with a tight little bow, super good. There is like no murder or shootings or all the drama in the Virgin Rivers show. But anyway, so this is a small town, cozy vibes, comfort read.
So the next book on my list is, because this is where I start to get a little more serious, but Bright Young Women. It is in the category of mystery thriller, and it's based on Ted Bundy's crimes. It's supposed to be like a real page turner.
Yeah.
And I picked it because it came up in my Goodreads challenges as a book to read.
Yeah.
It's set in 1978 Tallahassee. And initially, I guess it just sort of starts. My understanding is it starts as a page turner right out of the gates. And so I'm looking forward to just a read like that where I can't put it down. And so it kind of aligns with my tastes. I like that kind of stuff. But other people, this is where we're so different on reading. I love that we have this conversation.
Well, I read everything, but for my summer reads, right? Because one of my favorite books 2026 is The Keeper of Lost Children. And I love that book so much. And I know I talked about it before, but it was about all of these Black servicemen that were serving in Germany in World War II, and they had babies, and they were not allowed. You couldn't have interracial marriage, and they weren't allowed to marry the women. So there were all these brown babies, and based on a true story of an American woman whose husband was an officer, who I think ended up adopting 7 kids herself, but brought over, and they called it like Operation Brown Baby. Anyways, I loved that book. And so I do like serious books, but I think sometimes in the summer, if your nervous system can't handle a 500-page literary masterpiece, it's like you can check out my reads, which are just super fun.
Yeah, check out Jess's reads. I think I'm more like, because our summer or our winters are so dark and depressing, I want to read beach reads in the winter and like deeper things in the summer. Maybe it like balances me out emotionally.
So this is my final book. I love Carolyn Brown's books. They're usually set in like Oklahoma or Texas. She does have spicier kind of cowboy series too, but this one is called The Lucky Shamrock, and it is about 3 cousins that move back to Shamrock, Texas to help manage their grandmother's flower shop, The Lucky Shamrock. And so I love all of her books, and I look forward to this one. This one was released in 2023. She has so many series and so many books. So any Carolyn Brown book will be fun for the summer.
So my final recommendation is called Alan Opts Out. And it kind of is an interesting Chasing Brighter vibe in that it's about the story of a man who's like very successful and thriving, and he sort of tries to step step off the treadmill, if you will. And he kind of goes through his own experience with that. And so it's really funny. And I thought that would be a fun, humorous summer read. I hear it's really funny, I should say.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. And so I always love some of those books. The subtitle is I'm Having So Much Fun Without You, because he ends up kind of leaving, I wouldn't say leaving his wife, but like taking a break, as my understanding. So I think it would be kind of a fun summer read.
So, this is just encouraging you guys to read something fun, read something that brings you joy. And if you're reading it and you don't like it, stop reading. You don't have to, like we're just talking about being inspired and living more joyful this summer.
Yeah. So, create those little moments if you have. Sometimes even 10 minutes counts. If you find yourself busy, obviously it's great if you can sit by a pool all day or a beach all day and read, but sometimes we don't have that luxury. But it's not something that we want you to compete with other things. Just sit down. And again, June is the month of joy. If you guys like the books you've read, definitely share them with us. We would love to also hear what you're reading. Please check out our blog for this list of books as well.
Absolutely. And if you haven't grabbed our free Joy Dressing Trend cheat sheet yet, go do that now. It's at chasingbrighter.com. You get it by signing up for our newsletter. There's a link in the show notes, and it's a perfect thing to screenshot and save for when you're standing in front of your closet wondering what to wear this summer.
Yep. chasingbrighter.com/newsletter.
And don't forget to follow us on our socials at Chasing Brighter.
We hope this episode is just another great way of tips and tricks and advice to continue to enjoy your summer. Thanks for listening.